You can maybe look at a team on the cusp and decide you don't want them in the winner's bracket and make something happen about it. We're going to see who makes it happen as we head to our last match of the group stages. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the grassy pastures for the final game with Toby and Godspeed.
Thank you so much, Toughies. Thank you so much, Martin, as we head on over to match 6 of 6 here in the group stage. A lot on the line. Top 16 is where you want to be at, Godspeed, come the end of this game. And for some teams, they ain't there just yet, but they want to just creep on in.
But as the desk also pointed out, I mean, it is really just one good game. This is almost an open door for any of the teams. As I say, look at how south this plane really is. Again, very much towards Sosnaka Island.
The game is like, oh wait guys, sorry, we were gonna give you a military circle last game. Believe us, this time around we promise you. We know 4 of you dropped their last game. We promise you it's gonna happen now. Probably won't.
I feel like towards the end of my career, I actually started to mind melee-based circles less than I did at the beginning. I used to hate, I mean, everyone used to hate melee-based circles for obvious reasons. Rotating on there was very difficult, but look at this. They're actually fighting over this vehicle.
Genji got the car. Genji got the car, and Third on 5 starts running.
They're just, yeah.
Do they go for it? Nah. Genji, fighting early? Genji, no. But Taman did do 17.65 damage, so there's that. And for Genji, I think for Third on 5, they should be happy that it's Genji they were dropping with.
Yeah, maybe one of the other teams would have been a little more aggressive on that as we wait here for this circle to post. Again, the north completely open in this one.
Two very, very similar, not necessarily plane paths completely, but how teams are able to kind of stretch out off of them. Definitely circle.
Okay.
You know what? Let's just go back into the VOD and see how teams rotated in the previous one, because it's gonna be repeated this time around. The only good change I think from last game to this is Falcons ain't on Sosnovka.
Yeah, Falcons
so there you
go,
boys. You will actually get to play this game.
They're getting as far away from that damn island as they can, especially because they just all died to blue because of that camp by Game PT.
Yeah, and we'll see if Game PT gets to reap the rewards of said camp. They're currently sat in 21st overall, out of with 43 points, I should say. And as we can see, it's a 51-52 point cutoff that we currently have with, I believe, Twisted Minds, the team on the cusp.
Yeah, they're at 51 points, I believe, exactly as well, tied basically with Genji at this point, which, again, if you're one of those teams that's very close, it sucks. From experience, I can tell you, it sucks to have to put your game in the hands of other teams and other players. So that's, I mean, I'm pretty sure, as you were just telling me, Twisted Minds is already pretty much ready for losers.
The thing is, what are the odds that Genji gets 0 point? Foya might get only allowed to get 1 point. E-Arena can only get 4 points. Like there's so many teams so close to that it would really have to go wrong in order for you not to qualify. And for Third on 5, set at 56 currently, they also very much want to grab some more. And right now, well, it's a 2-man hunt versus a Doozy who haven't found his way out of this building yet.
And he's in a lot of trouble because he's all alone here against multiple members here. If they're on 5, his hot swat is going to be waiting here in this yellow, probably for his team to come help him out. It's going to be Rosseted, actually. This is still kind of dangerous for them as well. I mean, a 1-on-2 is very winnable. We've seen a 1-on-4 at this point.
It can definitely go wrong, no doubt about it. And I think they're waiting for the cavalry to arrive. The thing is, they dropped down here, and I think all of their eyes were completely hot-fixed on that car because they wanted to beat Genji to it. So they might not have noticed that a Doozy flew up here solo. He landed all the way up here, and because they're taking their time, now the rest of Question Mark, as you can see here, are full speed sending it in their teammates' direction. Now, Question Mark are well and surely qualified for winner's bracket, but they do not want to go down early here in this one.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they're still practicing, right? This is good practice. This Mime is going to find the flush there on Page after the knock from Strimzy, and if you're a friendly fire, this is not the spot. You, especially losing Page early, that is devastating.
It's a team with plenty of LAN experience, but no LAN experience together. And whenever you run into early setups, early traps, early issues like this, if you're already a set of players where some of you might be a little, I don't want to say hot-headed, but like easily frustrated, these sort of things just, let me put it this way, it's a very good test of your mental fortitude for tournaments like this.
And I'm just hoping, you know, regardless of what happens with that team, you know, they just do take the time, whether it's, you know, an amazing run here, qualifying and winners, or even losers, to just Get the communication on point.
Yes. I mean, losers bracket ain't the worst place to be. There's still very good qualifier opportunities for a team like Friendly Fire. If they can turn things around, they might just still be able to make grand finals. But of course, it's not going to be easy, especially not now, having lost one early.
But even Theraton 5 is I mean, you say safe, but they only have 56 points, and there's the possibility for a few teams to pass them up. So they definitely don't want to go down early here, as they are fighting on this west side. This is a very awkward compound to fight in, and something we don't see often at all.
Yeah, you'd say 56 is qualifiable, 60 is safe. You'd have to imagine, unless if again something crazy happens. Aduzi got the knock on one. Notes that the rest of the teammates would want to try and go for the rest. Flashbang throw, just trying to deny the cross. Or you see best luck at Dante trying to set up a counter to this road cross that they've just committed to. And Aduzi has the angle here. There's a solid 5 meters that Pathenpong has to transition, and they don't dare do it. They can't do it because Aduzi is holding down the fort.
And now, I mean, Theraton 5 really need to make a play here. They need to try to go for an angle. The problem is they're kind of stacked in that grandma now. They're slowly being surrounded as Hatsawad is the only one with an off angle, but I mean, he's not even really looking at the correct angle here. No. He really needs to focus on Aduzi and Phil first.
Worst thing for these two teams is that this could not take place further away from the circle.
Yeah, as you said, Question Mark is fine with this. They're safe.
Yeah.
They're going to they're going to winners finals.
Yeah, should be very, very safe in making their way through to the winners bracket, no doubt. Especially like now, Flash film forward, not really overcommitting on the push here, but they do get the flash onto Roseted, so they know now for sure they have themselves a 4v3.
I love the way that Question Mark is playing this. They're actually so intelligent, the way that they've trapped these angles and started to slowly herd Theraton 5 into this grandmas. And again, this is just good practice for them.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And again, Question Mark, very much like Gen G, especially in the early game, let's leave. If there's not a good, like if we were not forced to take a fight, we don't want to take a fight. We will take a fight when we have to, or when it's like a 3-point sort of situation. This ain't that. They could easily back off, but with the addition of Pestalok, with them feeling hot, which they have good reason to do, and the extra, as I said, addition of firepower out of him, I'm loving that we're seeing a way more aggressive Question Mark here.
Yeah, why not fight? Why not get points? Because if anything, if they do get the wipe here, more confidence, and they'll still be able to rotate just fine in a circle, at least because it's still just circle 1. So fighting this blue is really not that bad at all.
Plenty of time.
The problem now is that it's become a stalemate.
Yeah, and you don't know whether they're shotguns or Panzerfouls or whatnot waiting on the other side of that building. I like that Dante tried to get the off angle. You see Thanadot is actually hipfire holding this close angle, so if Dante can somehow get behind the ridge line and kind of creep up from the shores, he might just be able to get him at an off angle. Thanadot though, able to get the first one down. Philverse gets not flushed just yet, trying to crawl for info, but he will get flushed in the end.
Interesting that I think he could have actually survived that if he would have just stayed on the outside, but Philverse is trying to get info again. The Question Mark, they're not in any threat at all, so they're just going to push this and maybe see what they can do here as Aduzi's going to find the NAD.
Oh, that's it with the nade around the corner, finds Pathenpong as well. Such a nice, kind of calculated push through the buildings. One angle at a time, everyone is there to hold it. Because as soon as he jumps far, you have, like he takes the long angle, instantly after Aduzi is there to take it up close. They do lose Phil first, which is unfortunate for them. Good for us, because he's on Calaris' fantasy team.
And mine.
And yours, so wah, wah, I suppose. But for third and 5, again, we were talking about it at just 1 point. I mean, that 57 they got instead of 56 could be
that could be the cutoff, yeah.
So for that, so what he knows he's not going to get to the circle.
But again, I am happy to see their adjustments today. Theraton 5 have been wonderful.
Definitely,
so,
huge step up.
Even if they do go down here and they do qualify, I'd still be very happy with them going through.
Definitely. There's still plenty of room to improve, of course, but improvements have already definitely been shown.
3 bullets, there we go. Let's get you some ammo there, Aduzi.
Going for the long strat. You don't need bullets when you have a nade, which Aduzi unfortunately doesn't, but
yeah.
Now for Question Mark, do they go hunting for the last? Do they try and make their way to the circle? We haven't really looked at the circle at all. We knew it was east, and I can tell you this much. Everyone that isn't in the picture right now are inside the circle. So there's a good reason that we've been allowed to stick around with this fight for as long as we have, because teams have managed to spread out pretty neatly in the circle. But having said that, it is also extremely spread out. Like they are all over the place, taking up full control. Only the far western side is open, which you will see as we will put up the map in just a moment when the new circle pops.
If anything, actually, I'm very appreciative here to Theraton 5 as well as Question Mark for, giving us something to watch in the early game, because otherwise it would have been a very slow burn.
Now, let's see here.
As I say that.
happens next. Not so much fights pop off, but a few confrontations that now will turn into a fight does pop off as DD team take casualties once more. Again, a team that I've seen in China like to wrap the edges, like to play it slow, but they just have not, I feel like, been at the same pace as many of these other teams. They constantly run into super aggressive teams, and they just cannot stand up to them. Mamu, good player, but he cannot go out and do all this stuff on his own, and the team just don't seem in a state of communication to be able to fight back.
Agreed, and we've also talked about, again, how many teams are good edge teams in this lobby. It's very difficult, especially, again, like you said, with only one player with that much LAN experience.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get that going for DD team, and so now we see Sarvam rotating right underneath E Arena as they're just trying to thread this needle, but the more they drive, the more threat they are of actually getting knocked or losing members, but they're gonna get through.
If only they knew that E Arena were spread all over the place in this, they could have actually pulled up on, well, some of, like, just any one of those 3 positions.
I don't blame them for not stopping.
Oh, no, definitely not. They want to keep going. They want to get down toward, like, there's a clear cutoff of, are you north of prison or are you south of prison? If you're north of, it's compound or death, especially now that King Queen Div is, well, ruined because of mortars. So you want to be down towards the south. You want to be in the forest where you can spread out and try and take some control.
Look at this. Falcons now actually pulling up at this Wizard Tower. This is a very strong position to hold. Even if there is a team in prison, they should be able to, at the very least, stay for a while. The problem is they're losing their tires, and if the circle does shift away for them, that's going to be difficult to rotate out of.
Sure is. Sure is. Here comes stage 8. Up over the hill they go. Sure, the DD team has taken 2 casualties, but they will get some in return now. One falls. We'll see if Pooches can fight the other, as well as Emo picks the first one down. Spaceman, last play up at his feet, doesn't get it. And that is going to be DD team down in 23rd.
2 kills the way of Pooch Hills, so they'll be able to get that. At the they did lose 1, which isn't ideal, but still, Day Trade should be able to fight just fine. And
they're in. So.
And a team in 9th place, yeah, they're going to be okay.
I like this rotation coming through from Sarvam. Not only do they end up in a good spot, but they actually rotated past this. One thing is the shenanigan arena they had in the arena, but they wrap all the way around, come in from the southern side on this approach too. So not only have they cleared out the position they came from, but they've also actually made a pretty good set of buffer space down towards the south. So smart, again, proactive, aggressive center move by Sarvam, who we were kind of after for being overly passive. This is a very smart, proactive play.
I mean, they did do that with no information, though, so it was essentially a blind send. But yes, you're right.
Here we are complimenting Sarvam.
It did work out for them, so yes, I will agree with you.
You know what? A blind send is still a send. And there was a point to be made with that, but I'll leave it at that. You can quote me on that one.
No, that's fair.
Blind send is still a send.
We'll leave it at that. And yes, Sarvam had done well to get themselves in a fantastic position in this current circle. So we now see 4AM again clearing the south side of Lumber here, and they're starting to regroup as well. And I will say, playing on foot from here is actually, this area is very conducive to be able to play on foot.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's what I was saying before. Like, we have the spread on the circle now, whether you're north of prison or south of, because north, on foot, you're dead. Like, instant dead. Everyone will see you and you're down. But prison and everything south of there, you can easily maneuver in those woods on foot. And I mean, I feel like we're waiting for 4 AM as we actually have our eyes on Danawa here, who got their potential final turnaround game in the previous one. We're waiting for this 4 AM roster to do the same thing. 4 AM has, in my opinion, right now, at least on paper, one of the best rosters China has ever seen.
Yeah.
That is a filthy team. They have very limited playtime together, which is part of the reason why I think they're playing things a bit more slow, because, I mean, the more aggressive you want to be, the better communication you have to have, the more you have to know exactly what your teammates are planning.
Oh my goodness!
Some water comes raining on in, and Xiaopei probably will think twice about picking up that vehicle again.
Just dialed in. That was just out of nowhere.
That's gonna be Danawa from
probably
heaven, right?
scared the hell out of him as well. I know it would have was me.
No doubt.
Oh man, mortars have been so fun so far.
For who?
I mean, to watch. I imagine playing against mortars is probably a nightmare, especially in some of those, as you said, the King of Wind dip to the north of Sonics. Yeah.
But again, I mean, look, just to go back to 4 AM real quick, look at this roster. You have the best out of New Happy and the best out of 4 AM under leadership of Xiao Pian, who pretty much made New Happy a thing back when they became a household Chinese team in global PUBG. Exactly, right? So you really can't line it up any better. And regardless of whether the 4 AM goes to losers bracket, they're very close to not doing so. But even if they don't super duper perform here at PGS2, this is going to be a roster, should they stick together, that could easily come back half year from now and absolutely demolish the competitive PUBG scene.
Honestly, if they even manage to get into, you know, winners bracket and then get sent to losers, that's going to be so many more games for them to actually kind of get that communication and get that gel going.
And I feel like they're that one game away where things align, like we saw with Danawa in the previous one. They're one game away where it just all works out for them from saying, great, now we have the recipe.
Absolutely.
Now let's go out and execute.
And as you were saying, that's the roster to do it as well. As we see Narns finding Dante, and they're just sending it in again. They are perfectly safe, so these plays don't really mean a thing as they're just trying to find their way into prison here.
Full speed forward.
Why
They
not?
go as they try and somehow play it safe, but there is really not a whole lot of safe to get in here. Now, Bessler does have a wall and have his vehicle for cover, but outside of that, all he has is a lot of opponents around him. Norns taken down by Hasagi. That is elsewhere on the map, down towards the southwest, as now 4am are starting to creep up forward as well, but they're in the middle of a game PT split.
KPT, yeah, just trying to find some frags again. They are at 43 points, and they would love to get some more points here as well, some placements, and just start to thin out the herd on the south side so they can take control. As we see multiple teams now, FaZe as well, and then just to the west of them, Cerberus on the south.
This is a dangerous place to set up shop when you have no info to play off of, and you're, well, as we can see it here, fully surrounded. Dogmire taking the fight to FaZe as these teams, who again are pretty much already qualified through, battle on the southern side of the circle. We did shift north, left prison on the southern side of the circle, and therefore all these teams that were playing on foot before are forced now to fight one another because they know there's absolutely nothing to claim up towards the north. Because of mortars.
Yeah, exactly. And this is going to center pretty much on prison. It's been a while since we've seen a circle actually end around this area, as Fex is going to take a little sidestep. Jeems knocked here, and FaZe would love to get some more points here, although they're doing pretty well for themselves as well. Duckmine now taking the spray, and Gustav walking with that UAZ. He's going to find the knock on a Duckmine. Well played.
Able to use the cover and move with it too. Dogmire should be down 4 as Himas gets knocked as well. Taikan and Haisagi, I mean, they completely annihilated FaZe in a previous game, and here they are once again trying to take the fight to them. Jeems does get rest back, spots Haisagi over the top but can't connect the shots.
And he would love to just kind of get rid of Cerberus
Yes.
here. They have a nice foothold into the circle as long as they just get rid of the team that has just been a menace in the server, and all these smokes going to cover them, so they are going to be able to get the res. Not enough nades or utility to take them out.
Because of FaZe as well, even if they do, and when they do, because they will go through to winners brackets, day has not been an impressive day for them. They got themselves the second place in the first game, but 12th, 10th, and 16th follow, not been their day. So they really want to come into winners bracket with more going their way. Now with Xiaopian backstabbing them, it ain't exactly going to make things any easier.
Just to finish strong, but I mean, again, yes, FaZe should be just fine here as they're going to start to go for this push. Hitmass on the backside, trying to get the nade. They have the read on the movements here. Out FaZe, Corexy going for the spray. He's going to get knocked. Haisaki going to find him. A beautiful trade from Fex.
Really nice back and forth there. Himas down to low HP. Last player alive on the side of Cerberus. That tree's a slim one. Ain't going to grant him the cover that he's going to need, and Fex will find him in the end. So FaZe gets to stay alive with 3.
Hopefully.
Just Jeems falling down.
Yes, and I don't think 4am is, yeah, they're not going to be pushing that. So FaZe will recover here as they're embroiled in a fight now with GP. Remember, they did lose one earlier in the rotation here on the southeast side, and now they would just love to get rid of GP. 2 knocks. It's just Hush and Bobson Head left. The clutch player there, I would say, for game
Definitely.
PT as well.
When everything has been working their way, the janitor has come in and swept the floor and got them in, out of, I should say, some pretty dire situations. 4am, they did enough damage from down below as they wanted. They sent 2 players down. They did lose Xiaolu earlier. Keep that in mind for the next fights up close as Belmoth and Pushos now. Oh, nades in hand. A lot of damage done, but not able to find the knock.
Oh, that nade landed pretty much right on top of HSMM. He's going to survive for now, back up towards the UAS, and he will be able to heal in this fight. Now, FaZe is going to be taking, I'm sure they're going to be hearing this, and they might even third party here on Day Trade side.
4am have barely even been fighting this entire game so far. Oh, no.
Oh, good.
No.
He looks up! He looked up and he's like, okay, never mind.
Oh, no. Not only only you have to look for planes, now you also have to catch mortar shells out of the air.
That was a beautiful moment.
That is a huge reaction play, because what team is the only team we've ever seen get absolutely torn to pieces by mortars? They already know. They already know that you look into the air.
PTSD, Toby.
They are already there. They're already scared for life.
I guarantee you he heard it and he immediately looked up. He's like, oh, no, not
again. And they instantly try to make a play off of it. So Circle, this one is actually incredibly interesting. The road is going to split the south and north pretty much dead even. Prison still in. You have enough of the ridgeline on the northern side in. That's going to be in as well. Center is going to be quiet, practically unplayable. But all, like, again, we're splitting it into semifinals. We're seeing the northern qualifiers and the southern qualifiers in who can come out victorious in this game, because only one team should be able to stay alive on either side.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you will have Gen G just kind of sitting in, but yeah, as far as the outskirts, the west and the east side of Prison, it's going to be difficult for multiple teams to survive. We do still see Falcons sitting in that Wizard Tower, so for the time being, they're going to be okay.
We have talked Sabum and their passive playstyle. I'm seeing them right now. They know there's a team out in that compound east where Sonic's currently is at. They have to try and at least just prevent some sort of damage to come through. And in the meantime now, 17 Gaming 4 in a car. You hate to see it. If there's a Panzerfaust anywhere to be used, now would be the time to use it. The car's on fire. They all have to get out of it. Xiaobei first one to fall. Other people taking damage. And oh my god, somehow Xiao Wu able to dodge and weave. But here comes Trapping. Finds one, finds two, finds three, and Amix finds the last. And just like that, 17 is eliminated.
And DraftKings just extending the damage that he's done so far in the group stages, and that was huge for Falcons as they had 52 points. Now extending that 4 more forward towards the top of the leaderboard.
Very much needed points for them to solidify their spot in the winner's bracket. As Silson, spots Tasawat just down below. Well aware now that he's in that screen. He's going to have to make a move soon as well. Same as FaZe, not inside the circle just yet.
Still so many teams on the cusp. You have Gen G, 4 AM, E-Arena that's still 4 alive, as well as Sarvum. So they could actually punch their ticket here. They are not far behind, especially if they can have a good game. And Xiao Pian going to go down.
Falls down on the transition, and now one peak comes over. That's Global Army. Crazy. All that's left for 4AM. What can you do here? What can you make happen? Solo player against the entirety of 4AM, and not only that, but we're seeing mortar shells start raining in from the top. Somehow H-Wit had a few more left to work with before he was forced to leave.
And look at that. That's actually bought Sonics the time, and they've actually got onto the bottom side of this fight. And now they're very close to Sarvum. In fact, they are going to push this.
I mean, that's like proper war invasion strategy of bombing first and then sending in the troops after. Sonics did exactly that. You see Tickleton, who needs the DMR when you can have a Panzerfaust? We'll see if we can make happen with it as FaZe and Daytrade start battling on the west side as well.
Somehow for him to survive both mortars and grenades coming out from Sonics as well as Sarvum as the Panzerfaust. Why not launch it forward? Will he find someone with it? Oh, it lands so close to HSMM.
Right over the top of him, able to stay alive through it though, as they really want Sonics to start helping them out and not fighting against them. Deny Sabum the control, allow us to move further forward. The issue is we're in phase 6. It hurts like hell to be out in the blue for extra amount of time. HSMM is going to try and drive off, but it ain't going to happen.
Another point the way of Sonics as well. They are well and safe, but why not as we look up at the top? Hatswat going to go down as well.
Sabum stole the point away from them, and this is needed for them. 46 and counting for Sabum. Still 4, but in the meantime now, many fights taking place at the same time. Friendly Fire being annihilated, being absolutely burned to pieces by E-Arena.
And E-Arena, another one of those teams on the cusp, and they've pretty much dispatched the rest of Friendly Fire. It's just going to be up to Roth down. And this other side of it be sandwiched between Danawa, Toby.
Yep, 4AM will fall. That means they are in the lower bracket. We'll see if they can make their way out of it, or what's going to happen with that roster, which again, on paper, looks absolutely unbeatable.
And Salute, oh my goodness, with a P90 Roth, I pray for you here. Oh, just a quick little headshot. Helmet. And Roth knows.
Yeah,
it's all but over at this point. That nade landing a little short, though. He's going to survive for the time being, but I don't know for how much longer. And that's going to be it. Helmet pop off. My favorite new animation, by the way. It's so satisfying when you hit those shots as well.
Looks amazing. Salute, 7, make that 4 shots left remaining as he takes one to the dome as well. He's going to be able to sit here for a little while longer. The more time he can buy Danawa to get properly inside the circle, and for as long as he can, there it goes. As long as he can keep E-Arena at bay, he's going to be fine. Sabum falls just short. 46 is where they're going to finish as Sonics take him out.
And E-Arena still survive, and this is going to be potentially their window. The problem for all these teams on the cusp is Gen G is sitting so comfortably right now in that prison area.
Gen G sat in 15th currently. They've snuck their way in to winners bracket, and unless if they go out here and E-Arena get a ton more points, or a ton more, I say 4 more points, they should be all right. We'll see now though as E-Arena creeps their way further forward. The only team here alongside Game PT that are currently out and trying to fight their way into the top 16.
This is a very important fight, which is why we're sticking on it, because E-Arena with the potential to dig themselves into or out of this position into the top 16 as we now look at FaZe as they look over the Falcons, who are 57 points just ahead of Theraton 5. Maybe they've done enough, but look how crowded the South is.
Yep, it's going to get very difficult to maneuver through this, and you have Sills and a Capitan outside here as well. This next circle could very well dictate who is going to come out victorious in this game, because if it swings north, it's going to be so hard for any of these teams to maneuver their way in that direction. And now Danawa again, we said the last game was what really got them started, and they're looking like they have never had a bad game in their life. 3 down already, looking for the last 2. Salute is down to the last bullet, and why not use the very last bullet available to find the final kill of E-Arena.
And Salute was just an absolute tank, just stopping any form of a push coming out from E-Arena by himself, essentially buying Dana with so much time to support.
Yep, Babsang head goes down. They need them alive. They need more points if they want to make this happen. Hush is on his own, and he's going to stay quiet and try and hopefully allow for Sonics to wrap around him. Maybe, just maybe, that's going to allow him to creep in from behind and gather more points. And even better, let them fight each other. There's only 17 up, 6 teams alive. If he can outlive just a few, we're not far away from that top 16 either.
Possibly, but the biggest issue for him is the fact that he's out of circle.
Yeah.
So he will have to move. That position will not be able to provide cover for much longer. FaZe Clan, 8 kills to the name. Sonic still just having a good game. This is actually very good for them as well. Heading into the winner's bracket, this will be wonderful form of confidence as Soul actually is going to find Fex from distance.
Solid shots coming through from the north again. Fex tried to grant himself some cover from Sonics, but instantly met on the other side. And now as the cross comes through, Soul runs on up. Salute those can take it down. So does Cynonix. They really wanted to go for FaZe here, but in transition are taken down to just 2 players left alive. Falcons in the meantime eliminated 2 as we make our way into top 5.
Sonics, yeah, as you said, making their way into the top 5 of the leaderboard as well. So nice bounce back from them as Danawa is just getting shredded, but they know they've done enough, so they're going to be just fine. It's just Soul left alive.
And Game PT, 48 points and counting. Then one more of it. Correxy peeks on over, goes for the full spray, takes out Danawa, but finally they have opted to show up, and now Corexy down as well. 49 for Game PT. 18th place is where they're sat. They're just a couple of points away. I think 2 points maybe could be enough for them to surpass Twisted Minds.
The problem, though, is that he has to move. And maybe if he gets a kill here, that would be all that he needs.
Become one with Sonics and allow them to take out Gen G. Did they see him? They saw him. Hush finds one. Does he get the flush? Does he get the flush? Yes, he does. That's 1 more point. Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough for him to qualify? Trying to stay alive. He is going to fall down in the end. But how much is the 1 point going to be? Not enough. At 17th place is where Game PT is going to finish.
And just like that, that means Gen G has slipped in. It's just Sonics and Gen G now, but we have set our top 16 here for our winners bracket, and man, group stages could not come to a more wonderful end here. What a group stage for this event, Toby.
A fight all the way till the very end, and we have gotten to see absolutely everything. I guess with the exception of a military ending, but outside of that, we have seen absolutely everything this amazing game has to offer. 13 kills for Sonics. They didn't come off to the strongest start in the tournament, but here they are. They've had themselves a win. They had themselves a good 2nd place earlier today, and this one should be theirs to win as well.
Not to downplay at all their performance in this game. Yes, we are set in the top 16, but the fact that Sonics were able to bounce back so convincingly and have these games stay consistent in the top 5 almost every single game, except for like maybe that Tego. This has been a wonderful performance from the boys.
Also, I mean, across the board, they had themselves a good game on Miramar today. They had a win on Tego yesterday, and now they potentially, or I would expect to see, a win from them here on Erangel too. So it's good performances across all maps. That's the best confidence you can go into the next stage with, that they've been able to deliver. They've been able to bring home points across all 3 maps.
And then even Gen G, right, for having their amazing start, then going into a very middling to poor performance in, in those games, to finishing strong here, getting second place, and making sure that they punch their ticket into the winner's bracket. This is going to be massive, as Sonics will close out the game and close out our group stages.
15 kill for the Sonics as they turn the ship around here in the final match. What a group stage it has been. And I'm looking so much forward to both winners and lower bracket. This is going to be a phenomenal tournament to continue, because what we've seen already, I can't even begin to imagine what we had to come.
Bye. Winners bracket, even losers bracket is going to be absolutely amazing. This has been, in my opinion, one of the best group stages we have ever seen. Obviously, the changes, the new map, the new meta that's starting to form, the new utility. I absolutely love this